I was brought up in a Hindu family in North India in a religious environment full of ritualistic and devotional aspects, which didn't work for me when life got tough. I recently discovered Advaita, but still, when I joined related communities, these are still full of familiar aspects, chanting, praises, devoteship, etc., that cause some resistance in my mind as to if even Advaita is the path or just another modified version of popularized Hindu religion of India.
Advaita is more than just a religion. Yes, often all these practices, these practices are not totally divorced from Advaita. Bhagavan was never opposed to all these ritualistic practices. But what he made clear is when we go to temples or churches or mosques or gurudwaras or synagogues or whatever, there are two possible reasons for going. Either we're going for the love of God, or we're going for the love of what we can get from God. The vast majority of us worship God for what we can get from him. So people pray to God for health, wealth, and all these things, and for not only for everything favorable in this life, but also a good life afterwards, all these sort of things. This is in all religions. It's not just Hinduism, in every religion, in Christianity, in Islam, in Buddhism, in Jainism, Sikhism. The majority of people are praying to God or to whatever, to Buddha or to whatever their idea of some higher power. They're praying to that for betterment of their life. Over time, we all undergo a process of spiritual growth. So after some time, these material things begin to lose their attraction. And we begin to appreciate, but if God is so kind to give me whatever I pray for, surely God is greater than whatever he gives me. So rather than loving God for the sake of what I can get from God, I should love God for his own sake. So slowly the Vishaya Bhakti becomes true Deva Bhakti. That is the love for Vishaya Bhakti means for the things we can get from God. Rather than having devotion for the things we can get from God, we get devotion for God himself. Once we love God for his own sake, we want to express our love for him. And generally that love, because we're familiar with expressing our love through actions, we do puja, we do japa and dhyana. These are all practices these practices are neither kamya nor nishkamya. It depends on the attitude with which we've done them. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa worshipped Kali. So many people worship Kali, but can their worship of Kali be compared with Ramakrishna's worship of Kali? No, because for Ramakrishna, he considered himself just like a simple child, and Kali was his mother, and he worshipped her with love for Kali alone. He wasn't worshipping for what he can get from Kali. He just loved Kali for her own sake. So that is pure Nishkamya Bhakti. That is the type of Bhakti we need. So when we have that Nishkamya Bhakti, we begin by trying to worship God through rituals, through repeating his name, japa, and also by meditating upon him. But in the course of time, our mind is further matured, and we come to understand that God cannot be anything other than ourselves, or we cannot be anything other than God, because God is the infinite whole. So if God is the infinite whole, how can I be something separate from him? If I'm separate from God, then God is thereby limited. God includes everything except me. That's absurd. So if we understand that God is infinite, we understand that ultimately God alone is. There's no me or you or world or anything. God is what we actually are. So once we come to the understanding that God is not something outside ourselves, God is what is always shining in us as our own being, as I am, then our mind turns within and we begin to investigate ourselves. So all these other practices, they all a part of, they're like the kindergarten level of spirituality. Now you may be studying for a PhD, or you may have got your PhD and be doing postdoctoral research. But where did you start? You started off in kindergarten learning ABC or R, E, E, U, whatever it is, depending on the language, and you learn your times table and everything. We all have to start from there. And slowly, as we progress through our schooling and through college and university and everything, we get higher and higher levels of education. It's the same in spiritual path. So someone who's studying for doing postdoctoral studies in a university, if someone says, oh, all these kindergartens, this is unnecessary, obviously it's necessary. If we don't have kindergarten, we wouldn't have universities. So all these things, they all have a part to play. But Advaita itself is not a religion. It is beyond religion. Because what are the characteristics of religion? In all religions, there are certain things you have to believe. In order to be a Christian, you have to believe that Christ died on the cross to save you from sin. If you want to be a Muslim, you have to believe in the Quran and in Muhammad, and that Muhammad was the last messenger of God and so on. If you want to be a Buddhist, you have to believe the Buddha was the enlightened one. If you want to be a Hindu, well, there's lots of variety in Hinduism. You can believe anything, but it'll be something. You believe in something to do with the Hindu religion. I mean, Hinduism is a vast ocean, but all Hindus believe in something. They have some set of beliefs, some set of practices, and most of all, with all these religions, if you notice, there's an identification. I am a Christian, I am a Muslim, I am Shia, I am Sunni, I'm Catholic, I'm Protestant, I'm Vaishnava, I'm Shaiva, I'm Buddhist, I'm Mahayana Buddhist, I'm Theravadan Buddhist, I'm Zen Buddhist, I'm this, that. So all these religions, firstly, they require certain beliefs. Because if you don't believe in the religion, I can't say I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in Christ. It would be meaningless. So we have to believe in something, and you have to identify yourself as something. Whereas Advaita, the pure Advaita is taught by Bhagavan, the first thing we have to question is our identity. Who am I? Now I seem to be Michael. I seem to be someone who was born in a Christian family and later was drawn to the path of Advaita. But so long as I think I am this person, I am an Advaitin, that's a false identification. Advaita, anyone who says I am Advaita hasn't really understood Advaita. I'm an Advaitin, hasn't really understood Advaita, because Advaita is making us question what we actually are. We are not Christian, we are not Buddhist, we're not Hindu. What we actually are is just pure being. So Advaita takes us out of religion, beyond religion, to the ultimate truth. So Advaita is we can say it's the pinnacle of all religions, but it's beyond all the limitations of religion. So Bhagavan, among the followers of Bhagavan, people from all different types of religious background and also atheist background, people of all kinds were attracted to Bhagavan because they saw in Bhagavan what was the ultimate aim of their particular religion, whatever it may be. So Bhagavan had Hindu devotees, obviously, he had Muslim devotees, he had Sikh, Jain devotees, he had Christian devotees, Buddhist devotees, people from all different types of religious and cultural backgrounds were attracted to Bhagavan. Not everyone, the vast majority of Christians, the vast majority of Hindus, the vast majority of Buddhists or whatever will not be attracted to Bhagavan. But whatever may be our religious or cultural background, or even if we come from an atheist background, we can be attracted to Bhagavan's teachings because his teachings are beyond all these things. Ultimately, what Bhagavan is telling, what is Bhagavan's basic teaching? What is the one thing all of us are seeking? Whatever be our religion, whatever be our beliefs, the one thing we're all seeking is happiness. Whatever we may be making effort for, whether we're making effort to earn a lot of money or to gain lots of degrees or to have a nice, happy family life or whatever we may be aspiring for, why do we aspire for these things? Because we think these things will make us happy. So the one thing that is motivating all activity, not only all human activity, but the activity of all jivas, from the gods in heaven down to the smallest insect, all are seeking happiness. Why? Because, as Bhagavan explained, happiness is our own real nature. So we can never be satisfied until we attain the infinite happiness that we actually are. So we're all seeking happiness. The problem is, most of us, or at least till now, we have been seeking happiness in the wrong place. We're still seeking happiness in the wrong place. So long as our mind is going outwards, why is it going outward? It's going outward seeking happiness in this or in that. So Bhagavan says, happiness does not lie outside. Happiness lies within. Happiness is your own real nature. That is, so we all want to be happy. Whatever be our religion, whatever be our politics, whatever be our race, the color of our skin, whatever be our species, whether they're human or cows or dogs or cats or ants or bees, all of us, or gods in heaven, we are all seeking happiness. Bhagavan's teachings is how to attain that happiness. That happiness doesn't lie outside, it lies within. So when we come to this path, we should look upon all other religious practices. We should see them for what they are. They're all different ways in which people are seeking happiness. And there are so many different levels of development among people who are following different religions. So we can't generalize about religion. So yes, there are many people, even among devotees of Bhagavan, they still like to do puja and all these things. Many of the groups of Bhagavan's devotees that meet around the world, they do pujas and everything. That's all fine. It's good to be devoted to Bhagavan. But what is the best way to be? If we are truly devoted to Bhagavan, we should be devoted to his teachings. And his teaching is not to do puja, japa, dhyana, or any of these things. Bhagavan didn't discourage people from doing these things if they want to do. But for those who wanted to go deeper, he said we need to go back within. So if our devotion to Bhagavan is deep, we won't be satisfied with just the doing pujas and such things. We will want to try to surrender ourselves and go deep within. So we shouldn't look down on these different practices. They all have a place. Just like someone in a PhD student shouldn't look down on children in a kindergarten, because one day those children in the kindergarten may be winning the Nobel Prize for all we know. So every Nobel Prize winner started off in kindergarten. So we shouldn't look down on different levels of spiritual development. And ultimately, all religions, all human practices, whether religious or non-religious, they're all part of this process of spiritual development through which we are all going through until finally we turn within and merge back into our source and then remain as we always are eternally.